Welcome to MPC on MCP Tournament Roundup. That's right, Matt and Pat went to a tournament in Exeter yesterday at Union County Games. We've spoken about it on the last couple episodes of the show. Yesterday was a big event, a long day, but well worth it. 4 really good games for both. Well, technically, Pat had 3 official games, but one you got it. You did get 4 games in.
I did, yeah.
You did. So I'm going to jump to you now. How was it? How did it go? How did you find it? Was it fun playing in real life?
Yeah, it's great. It was wicked. It was a really fun tournament run by Marcus, our friend. And yeah, it was good. It was, what was it, 11 players in the end?
It was 11, and then Marcus, there were buys, but Marcus played a game against the buys. So even though it went down as a win, they still got a game in, which was nice.
Yeah, it was wicked. And he'd set up all the tables fantastically.
Pictures on the Facebook group if you want to have a little look at those.
Yeah, it was great. I played some really good games. I got beaten into the ground in round 1. Pulped, pasted, but it was good. It was good. So should I just run through the games then? In general?
Yeah. Do yours.
Okay. So I was playing A Force, to the surprise of nobody. And yeah, it was good. I played Darren, Wargaming Dad, in round 1. So it was always going to be an uphill battle. He is quite fantastic at this game, and he has Black Order and Brotherhood down to a T, like it is a fine art. The stuff that he can pull off with those affiliations. So I do believe I won Prio in game 1, and I chose extracts. Turned out to be a wrong idea, but I was just I was a little bit scared of Darren being able to pick the extracts and just controlling the score in the sense that it would always end up becoming a beatdown, which it turned out that it did anyway. So let me try and remember what I played. I took pictures of everything, so I should be able to quite clearly see what was played. So I played Medusa, Angela, She-Hulk, and Okoye. So that looks like a 17. Yeah, we definitely had two. Was it 17 and 18? Yeah, it was 17 and 18. I decided to play 17. We had it was Research Station. I picked that one, and Riot's Spark over Extremis 3.0, which I think it's a really good secure for Black Order. I think he used it so well, the ability to heal up damage. Because actually, I think I did take the beating to him. It was just a little bit too little, too late. It's 1-1 at the end of round 1, and then Proxima just decides to do the casual 9 damage off like 5 dice with against She-Hulk. Proxima was truly MVP, and I think Darren was the first to admit it was just like, wow, like what happened between Proxima and Corvus, because she was peeved. But yeah, actually, Medusa gave as good as she got, to be fair, because I don't often use her Medusa's area effect spender, but it was great. Did 6 damage to Proxima, 7 damage to Corvus, 7 damage to Thanos, and that's all after their damage reduction. So it was a lot, and that was as close as I got to dazing Thanos. Thanos was eternally on 1 wound until, for the rest of the game, I managed to daze both Proxima and Corvus. But by that point, he could so easily take out She-Hulk with the Corvus reality, and Thanos just being able to move shenanigans around, and Proxima just doing an extra bit of damage. It made it very difficult to sort of get back in the game.
Yeah.
Angela, I picked Angela because we were on a board with quite a lot of decent sized terrain. And so the thinking was I'd be able to throw some stuff around, and because I know dealing the damage is always so difficult with Black Order because they have that innate reduction of damage. So any way I can get extra way of chipping in damage, and it did work to a certain point, but the dice weren't there, and yeah, Darren was first to admit the dice was scarily hot against me. But yeah, that went down to a bit of a pasting in round one, which meant, like Matt alluded to, I was at the bottom of the pile going into round two. So I got a bye, played against Marcus, and it wasn't like a proper sort of game, but Marcus has been playing a lot of the Sam spam. And he was like, well, I can go 8 wide at 20. And I was like, well, we should just play 2 20s and see what happens. And it was really close. I mean, I played 4. I was playing She-Hulk, Angela, Scarlet Witch, and Enchantress 20. And Angela had a field day against Sam Spam. Like it was unsafe.
I mean, I saw some of that game.
Yeah,
like quite quick, and then
yeah, like that game would have come with a warning if that was a television show or a movie, because Angela was just cutting people up and cutting Bob up repeatedly as Bob just was. Yeah. And it was weird. It was like, is that worth it? Because it's just giving Marcus the ability to move, but at that point, the ability to move and remove, it was the conditions which I probably could have kept on top of, because Scarlet Witch was doing her damnedest to try and put the conditions out, and because I have to kill so many of him to get them off the point, it did mean that he constantly could remove those conditions. Yeah, I think that came out to a really close win for Marcus even in that game, but it was just I could never catch up with Iron Fist. Iron Fist, we were playing the Kree cube, the Kree and core, sorry, and Iron Fist got it, just ran around like a headless chicken, did throw out a couple of Iron Fists in the process, but I managed to catch up to him with Enchantress in round 4, take it off, so it would have gone to a round 5, but at that point I was like, we need to get some lunch, this was a fun game. But yeah, Sam Spam is rough, and that is going to be a tough matchup for a lot of people, because boy oh boy, they can just control a point and make life very difficult. So yeah, we played Kree Core and Terrigen. Yeah. So Terrigen was fine. Like that was I was always getting points off that because I could kill enough of his characters, so he never had more characters than me, but then he's eking ahead because we're either at parity on the second point, so I'm not getting 4 points, but he's getting the Kree Core as well, so always managed to eke ahead. I think War Machine was dead. War Machine was killed, Nebula was killed, Black Widow was killed, Hawkeye was killed. Yeah, he just had like Iron Fist, Bob and Cap at the end. I'm pretty sure I had slayed everyone else, but yeah, it was just too many wounds to soak up and too many characters.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it was just a lot to cut through. Yeah, I wonder if he had it was a very good Doom Prophecy, or you've got Hawkeye activation where he managed to take out Enchantress and Scarlet Witch. So yeah, that's really good. Everyone thinks that's going to be really nice with War Machine, but they forget that actually if you don't have to face any physical attackers, which on one flank I'd sort of left Scarlet Witch and Enchantress there, meant that Hawkeye really was like, well, cool, yeah, I mean, you're 2 physical beaters on the other side, I'm just going to come out here and be rolling 9 dice at you. And then did that 4 times and dazed, and it's who cares, he's taken out.
Yeah, Hawkeye's one that can sit back and not take too much.
Exactly.
Counterfire as such.
Counterfire, yeah, absolutely. So definitely learnt a lot there. We went into game 3. So at this point, I'm technically 1-1, but I wanted to make sure we got some got some wins on the board. I mean, sort of like properly earned wins. So the next game was against a new player called Dan. There were the two Dans, I think.
There were two Dans.
Traveled down, and so they played each other quite a lot, but they hadn't played sort of a wider array of affiliations or games. So I won Prio again. This time I went with what did I go with this time? I think I went with the Extracts this time, and we played Hammers versus Mutant Madmen, and
Nice.
yep. So I had, what did I have in that game? So it was against X-Men, which was pretty cool, and Cyclops leadership X-Men, so X-Men Blue,
Yeah.
which is not something you see very often. But the reasoning was solid because he then had Jean Grey, Wolverine, and Cable rounding out the rest of his roster. So there's a lot of characters there. So you've got Cable, who's a bit of a battery, and then both Wolverine and Jean Grey and Cyclops, to be fair as well, have these really nice spender attacks. So that's where Cyclops comes in. I played She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, Medusa, and Crystal. And yeah, this was another game where Medusa shone. Medusa was so good in this game. Scarlet Witch and Wolverine sort of killed each other, which I think you look at the cards, you're like, yeah, that makes sense. You know, one's terrible against Mystic, the other's terrible against physical. So I sort of dazed him, and then he doom prophesied Wolverine to KO Scarlet Witch, but obviously in doing so KO'd himself.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, She-Hulk ended the game with 3 hammers.
Nice.
Picked up the 4th at the end of the round, at the end of the final game, or the end of the final round of the game, and it was a 19-18 win to the A-Force, which is really, really good. Like, it was he basically had all the points bar 1, but I had all the hammers and 1 point, which meant that, you know, on the final round I got a few more points. So yeah, that was good. It was another game where, like I said, Medusa did so well. She really did deal with Cable and dazing Wolverine and doing damage to Wolverine and Genie. But the character I was really impressed on Dan's side was Jean Grey, actually. Like, she has really good defenses. Like, considering those Mystic beaters usually have like lower defenses, she's 3-5.
Yeah,
with a decent stamina pool and a spender which is really, really powerful. That 9 dice physical is difficult. So yeah, Dan knew his affiliation, knew his cards, knew his roster like the back of his hand. But yeah, it was a really tight game. So I was glad I managed to eke one out there. Again, sort of She-Hulk didn't do all that much other than just have a ton of wounds, which meant that she was fine to just hold all the hammers come the end of the game, because by his own admission, he sort of tried to deal with everything else while leaving She-Hulk relatively unhurt. But that does mean that She-Hulk can just wield those hammers and start smacking people, which she did, you know. So that was good fun. I could have played probably a little bit tighter, stopped him scoring a few points in the final round. But I knew as long as I had all 4 hammers, I was winning the game. So that I just made that my priority.
Yeah.
And I had to do something like 2 damage to Cable in a full activation with She-Hulk. So I've had bad turns with She-Hulk, but it would have been a pretty awful turn of She-Hulk, especially considering there was some size 3 terrain in throwable distance and stuff like that. So yeah, even though the score was very tight, the final round I didn't have to do all that much to ensure the win,
which is always nice.
Which is always nice, yeah. Which is always nice.
I had that in a couple of my games as well. I was sort of looking at it going,
you're like, yeah, right,
it's terribly.
Really, you're like, it's really, really tight, but statistically likely that I'm going to do quite well.
Yeah.
So yeah, that meant I was 2-1 at the end of round 3, and so I played against a fella called Chris Oakley, who again is another relatively new player. Good friends with Marcus, I believe. So was playing some Asgard, which is very cool. Asgard, his roster had a few other additions like Thanos and the Mind Gem and Lockjaw for some teleportation shenanigans. Yeah, it was a cool roster. I won Prio again, which I think did mean that obviously in all three of my proper games, I won priority.
Nice.
And we played Terrigen Mists and Fear Grips. So I chose Terrigen, and Chris picked Hammers. So yeah, I played a lot of Hammers and I played a lot of Terrigens yesterday. Mainly Terrigen is really good for me, and I think everyone just enjoys Hammers because it's the extra dice. Everyone loves Hammers. But yeah, this one wasn't close. I'm not gonna. I won't beat around the bush here, but it was a fun game. Chris took it entirely in his what's the saying, in stride. It wasn't. It was 21-1 in the final, and he had never seen a She-Hulk special delivery before. And I sort of went through what my affiliation did and what all my tactics cards did before the game, but even I haven't seen a special delivery quite like this, which was just Crystal moving up in one move, dropping off She-Hulk, dazing Angela in one attack. So that was I got 9 hits off this off her 7 dice builder. So that was rough. I think that was a quad crit roll, and things are usually going to go quite well if you roll 4 crits ever. I think
Ignore that. Someone just said.
Yeah, someone having a nice little race outside.
Yeah.
But it was that 7 dice going into 9 hits was good. I think Darren joked that She-Hulk got hurt so bad by Thanos in game 1 against him that She-Hulk just was like, cool, I see Thanos over there, because Chris went with Thor, Thanos, Mind Gem, Valkyrie, and Angela. So yeah, it was. I held every point and held all the hammers after round 2. So it was good. It was a fun game where I got to roll a lot of dice, and unfortunately Chris got to be dazed a lot. But
I guess he got to roll a lot of defense dice.
He did get to roll a lot of defense dice, but he got to roll 1 less defense dice a lot of the time because I had bitter rivals out there. And when he had all his characters within range 3 of one other character, my Medusa and She-Hulk did just decide to start deleting, and Scarlet Witch as well just decided to delete characters off the board. So yeah, it was like I said, not a close game, but really did get my my total difference up quite a lot, considering I got a pasting in round 1, a bye, and then only a +1 differential in round 3.
Yeah.
It was good. It was good. Definitely, Chris was. We sort of gave like prizes for most, like we enjoyed like our best opponent sort of thing, like best game.
Yeah.
And I gave Chris mine. It was. I think it takes a lot to be on the receiving end of that and not get tilted or annoyed or whatever. So yeah. He was just like, wow, okay, this is what A-Force can do. I am not going to I'm not going to think any less of these girls again, because boy, there is a lot of punch in that affiliation.
We've all been like Chris.
Yeah, exactly. But good fun. I just Darren.
Yeah. So my day. So I started off with playing a guy called Steve. Again, like a lot of the guys there, quite a new player. But I was informed he used to be quite a good War Machine player. So I didn't want to sort of underestimate him. He asked, a few questions and stuff, which was cool. Had a decent understanding of the game. Was playing Asgard. We were playing swords and sword base and hammers, I think, in the first game.
Yeah, I think.
And I had prio, so I chose at 14 because I saw Asgard, quite a few big hitters. I wanted to sort of mitigate it. I was running my spider foes. Same list that I put up last week. I didn't change it in the end. So it's the 8 spider foes, Taskmaster and Black Cat. Taskmaster and Black Cat I didn't use in the end. I was quite intrigued to try Black Cat, but it was never the right time. Never played quite a high enough threat that I thought to put her in instead of someone else. Okay. Maybe, I would say maybe it was a mistake, but actually the day went quite well, so probably wasn't. Yeah. So at 14 threat, I played Green Goblin, Carnage, Lizard, and Mysterio. Nice. I had Sinister Traps. I put the trap over on the far side, on the far right, my far right sword base, which is also, there's a hammer under there as well. I think Steve just decided to trigger it with Angela and just slowly heal her back over the next couple rounds.
It's actually not a bad idea.
Against Asgard, yeah, just take it and start healing up.
Yeah.
I think I did 2 or 3 damage. It wasn't, it wasn't. It was the average. I think it was the average one. I think it might be maybe 2, but he didn't. To be fair to him, he didn't even really second guess it. He was just like, do you know what? Angela's on this side. She's not going to do anything else. She might as well go and do her stuff.
And she's a pretty tanky character as well.
Yeah, the only benefit I got out of it really was the fact that obviously it makes, because of the push as well, it makes her use both her moves to get those objectives. So it delayed her from coming towards the middle, which is where a lot of the action was happening. He also had Thor and Loki. That was his. He just was playing with 3. Angela, Thor, and Loki, which is a scary 3 characters.
Yeah, that's a really scary 3 characters.
So he kind of literally put one opposite each sword base. I had Goblin and Lizard on the left, Mysterio and Carnage in the middle, and I just was ignoring the right one, just let the traps do their job for round 1. I took the middle one in turn 1, the middle base. Thor sort of ran in, but obviously couldn't, sort of do anything for turn 1. I'm trying to think what.
Well, this is a game where you both just ignored once you claimed the end.
Yeah. Well, except
I rocked up, and I think I rocked up, and it was like turn 3, and there was just a massive fight over.
There was just basically that's what happened. So I captured the left one as well, but Loki ran in and took it off me.
Nice.
On the 50-50 dice roll, and I was like, I wasn't expecting him to run Loki in.
Yeah.
Against Lizard and Goblin, basically. So he got 5 points. He had 2 hammers and the 3 for the sword base. Turn 2, he kind of sort of started falling back into the middle with all 3 of his characters. So I took back the other point. Lizard had been pushed away with the sword base, so he was a bit further back. I didn't do much that turn really. I don't remember a lot happening turn 2. It ended with him getting the sword bases still. He still had the middle one. He still had his one on the far side, and I had the one on the left again. And he still had his 2 hammers. I still have my 2 hammers. So it's 5-2 again. So he had a 10-4 lead going into 3. Turn 3, I think Angela ran in, and Carnage ate her.
That's nice. I like that.
Pretty sure.
I think I turned up at that point.
Let me just double check the pictures because
by this point,
I've got a few pictures, and Angela doesn't seem to be in any of the later ones. I'm pretty
think Angela definitely wasn't there by the time I rocked up because
I'm fairly certain Carnage to Angela.
Did you have a hammer
Angela
on?
might have even dazed. Angela might have even dazed. I can't remember any of my characters. I'm sure. Oh, do you know what? I can't quite remember. But Carnage ate Angela, and then he also the next round dazed Thor as well. In one just one round of full on just munching. Yeah. Basically, turn 4. So turn 3, I had the bases. I took the middle base. Again, I think it was on a dice roll, not because Thor was still in the middle at this point. And at one point, Thor had used his charge at Mysterio, and Carnage was dazed at that point because Thor couldn't attack him. So I think Angela did daze Carnage, but then Carnage ate her in turn 3. But Thor tried to charge Mysterio. Mysterio tricks and trapped, dodged out of the way, was out of range of Thor's attack. Then did some damage to Thor, which was quite nice.
Yeah, I love that.
So yeah, I got the 5-2 in round 3, and then in round 4, Angel was gone. Thor was dazed, dropped his 2 hammers. I picked them up.
Yeah.
Loki, I pushed away with sword base, so he's quite out of it at this point.
Mm-hmm.
I think I'd also thrown him or something. I think Lizard had pushed him away as well. So all Steve could do to try and stop the game ending, so I had 7 points at this point, and I was on 9. Was basically throw everything, try and throw Loki into the middle and cap the point. So he had to move, then climb up to it was on a piece of terrain, so he had to move, short move, and then just go for the dice roll. It was against him, unfortunately, and I still had 3 characters left to activate. So 2 characters because he passed once, and then unfortunate for Steve, I got 7 points in round 4, took it to 16-14. So,
that's a good first game, though. It's a
16,
close.
No, 16. Hang on, can't add up. 16-12. 16-12. 16-12. Can't add up there. So he had 5-5-2 and then 0, and I had 2-2-5-7. Yeah. So 16-12 in the first game. It could have a few, dice rolls gone against me. It could have easily been a narrow win for him as well. So a really good game to start the day off. Nice to play Asgard again because it's been a while. And I forgot just how hard they can hit and just how much they can take as well.
It's the conditions. Just being able to...
I mean, again, it's that Spider-Verse thing of 4 dice attacks against 4 dice defenses, essentially. Apart from Loki. It was.
That is rough, actually. I didn't think about. That's probably where the hammers come in a little bit to try and get at least one more.
The thing is that the characters that had the hammers for me was Lizard had one and Mysterio had one. Because I sent Carnage off to try and get the middle sword base. He's obviously got the medium move. He could actually get there.
Yeah.
So Carnage never had any hammers on him until I think he dazed Thor. But at that point,
I was about to say he took 2 of Thor.
In fact, I think Goblin picked up those hammers. I don't even think Carnage had the power to pick them up by the time he'd spent it killing Thor. But it was a great game. Good way to start. A nice little win. Game 2 was against a guy called Andrew. He was playing X-Men / X-Force. Played X-Men against me. Storm Leadership, Storm Beast, Mystique, Domino, and
we're at 11 at that point. What threat did you play?
It was Sword again, and this time it was Spider Infected? Oh, Scarlet Witch.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, so I had Goblin, Lizard, Kraven, Mysterio, Carnage.
Very similar.
So I think it was 16 threat. Oh wait, can't have been 16.
Yeah, 16 makes sense because he had the 11 core plus Scarlet Witch, so that's 16.
Maybe it wasn't Spider Infected then.
Yeah.
Well, Spider Infected is 17. Sword's 14, right?
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't Sword. It was Sword. It's Sword.
He played. What happened?
It's kind of been Spider Infected. Anyway, That was what I played. I know those are what I played. That one was spider infected. Did we just play at 16 and not 17? Anyway. No, I've just added up in my head. I have got 17. Ignore me. Maybe he only played at 16.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, that one was pretty quick. It was over by round 3. It was one of those ones where everything went right for me. I put the sinister traps on the rightmost sword base again. The rightmost his rightmost spider infected. He ran Domino in, and she took 3 damage straight to the face. I think I dazed her turn 1, or definitely top of turn 2 with Craven.
Mm-hmm.
Craven was really good that game, actually. Craven got some work done on the right-hand side, really dealt with Domino. Lizard ran up, dealt with Storm for a bit. Storm then sort of drifted into the middle. But Craven and Lizard sort of kept hold of that one side for me. Carnage and Mysterio again down the middle, and Green Goblin went on the left up against Scarlet Witch. Turn 2, Scarlet Witch dazed Goblin. Turn 3, Goblin just went berserk and dazed Scarlet Witch in 1 round. It was just trade-off basically at that point. But I think this one ended 17-3. I always had the sword bases. It wasn't. Again, really fun game. And Andrew was a really good opponent. Like I said, a lot went right for me, and I wouldn't say it went badly for him, but it just never quite clicked. I think it was 18-3 in the end. But it was, again, nice to play against the X-Men. Haven't played them since you played them, sort of, when they were first released. So good to see some of those on the table. Again, another really good game. Spider Foes really showing what they can do with a lot of Carnage. Oh my god, I just remembered. Carnage had a round of dazing Mystique, really crippling Beast, moving Beast out of the way, taking the middle point, getting Carnage. Probably my MVP of certainly the first 2 games.
Nice.
Third game was against Chris Oakley, who played in the 4th. Chris was 2-0 at this point.
Yeah.
I was 2-0, obviously. He was playing Asgard. Against me, we were playing Spider Infected again. And it wasn't sword based this time. And now I've also got to remember what we were playing in that one. Let's have a little look. We were playing Demons Downtown. That was it.
Oof.
Which obviously I have this chat with you. I'm okay with this. I think Demons makes Spider Foes better.
It's almost like you don't want to run Demons. You want other people to pick it, because
I mean, I did have it. It just never came up. But
nice. It came up for you.
It came up, but it wasn't mine. I was playing the Spider Infected again. And again, I set the traps down because I was just using the traps. It just made sense. I think I put it on his back portal actually. I don't think I put it on the Spider Infected. I can't quite remember. Let's see if I can see it in the picture. I can't see it in the picture. It was either the same Spider Infected I did in the last game, or it was the back portal. Either way, Lockjaw took it to the face in this one because he was running Thor, Lockjaw, Angela, and Enchantress.
Ooh, very nice.
Yeah, I think that was right. Check the picture. Yeah, it was. I had Goblin, Doc Ock, Craven, Mysterio, and Carnage. I dropped a Lizard for this one and took Doc Ock. And it's a solid decision. I took well-laid plans. Didn't need it in the end. Or I did find, and I had a big chat again. I echo the statement. Chris was very gracious in defeat. Kind of brought it about by the fact he played very passively.
I think I had the same chat with him as well.
Almost scared to take a hit which again, against spider foes, you shouldn't worry too much about the damage. To be fair, Craven hit hard a couple of times actually, so I probably should. I think there was one time he used Lockjaw's Bloodhound thingy on Craven.
Okay.
And sort of was setting up for Angela to come and really, and I just disarmed Angela.
Nice. Yeah.
So he was getting +1 dice, but -2.
-2. Yeah.
So Craven didn't die.
No. I sort of said a similar thing to Chris at the end. Was you got to look at the score a lot of the time. So at the end of round three, I was 13-1 up, and just started moving characters out the way. And I'm like I said, I was like, it's not a narrative game, you know. Well, it is. It can be but it's not like it's not like a campaign where if your characters die, it carries over. Like
a few of the things that he did, like he was contesting the middle demons with Thor against my goblin, I think it was, and he moved Thor away because Thor was close, was like 1-2 damage away from dying. But you know, there was no one to threaten him at that point. Doc Ock had given him a good slapping, but he'd been already, you know, he was. So Carnage didn't actually really do much that game. He did get to eat Thor at the end, just before the game ended. So Carnage did get to eat 2 Thors over the tournament. It was a 17-6 win, I think. Just because, like I said, Chris just dropped back a little bit passively. Again, great game, really fun.
I understand why, especially on something like Demons, though, which. It hurts an affiliation like Asgard quite a lot when you're like, the big thing that they've got is the survivability, where you're just throwing out Incinerate everywhere. Yeah, you can keep spending the activation to get rid of Incinerate, but then you're spending a power. You spend like that is a lot of sort of things you're putting into to get rid of that Incinerate.
I also think Demons being only 1 point per portal.
It's so slow, isn't it? Yeah.
It slows the game down a bit as well. It definitely encourages you to beat up the opponent, but I just sort of, to be honest, I sat back on the middle portal. I had 2 characters on the middle portal. Well, actually only a goblin there, but Craven was nearby. Doc Ock was kind of a little bit just behind them, just to help. But I think I had 3 or 4 spider infected because Enchantress kind of brought me one.
No.
And 2 portals, and it just I've 3 turns of basically that of having So it was, I think it was 18-6 in the final. So I found myself at 3-0, and that's where the day ended.
Well, I think there was another 3-0 player there. Who might have pasted me.
He did. He pasted you in round 1, and then he got me good in round 4. Darren, once again, you know.
He's all right. He's all right, isn't he? He's all right at the game.
He's not bad at this game.
He's all right.
He's
and
not,
as he said, he didn't come to make friends, did he?
He definitely didn't come to make friends. Luckily, we're already friends. But a learning experience, and I don't consider myself a good player. I don't think I'm bad, but I don't consider myself a good player. His level of understanding of his roster and the game is so far beyond me. I went into that game with hopes and dreams, and I was, hoping luck would be on my side. I ended up with neither. I lost priority on a draw of 1 success each. He had a crit, I had a wild. I'd won prior in all my other games, and I was like, this never happens. And then in the one that it might have mattered, it all fell away from me. We ended up playing, I think it was Spider Infected again, actually. And he chose Riot, Extremists.
So you played 17.
I just lost a character per turn, basically.
Just
move,
They just point and click. They just point and click.
I was trying to get the points. I took a 5-1 lead in round 1. Craven was dazed round 1 because he just got pulled away and dazed. Just bullied up on it. He actually survived I think he actually survived a couple of attacks, and I was like, yeah. And I was like, nah, he's not. The 1 reroll is not going to help him against all of them. I think next turn Lizard got pasted. And obviously he's always got priority. So it's not like I can get another action out of these characters. Once they're pulled in, that's it, they're dead.
Yeah.
And Darren.
Yeah, it's not only that's it. They're not only are they dazed, they're then
Mysterio got his
killed.
little bit of glory right at the end of the game because Corvus charged, Mysterio tricks and trap, did 4 damage, whilst 2 crits, 4 damage. Dazed Corvus. Corvus got to use his blood spare tactics card, which gets him the extra attack. Didn't kill Mysterio because obviously Mysterio's on 5 dice because he didn't have the power. He had the power, he just didn't actually choose to spend it. I think he just forgot, to be honest. I sort of ended up. I think the next, he'd won. I mean, score-wise, I think not ahead. Yeah, I might have been ahead at this point still. Just on points, obviously not in the game because I had 4 dead characters. He'd even managed to. I shouldn't have played it, but I played traps again, knowing he wasn't going for objectives, and he obviously teleported me onto my own trap. Which as soon as I did it, I was like, "This is going to go badly for me." I was thinking, well, I've got Lizard, he's got a throw, and I've got Mysterio's got his pushes, and so I might be able to. No, just throw. He just threw Goblin onto the trap. I was like, okay, I deserve that. The trap's been going well all day. I deserve this one. So yeah, Mysterio was the only one that actually did anything for me in the game, really. Carnage. I took Venom, not Carnage, in this game as well.
Yeah, we sort of had a discussion. I think it was the right decision.
It just didn't go well. Darren's dice was so hot that I'm not ever going to complain on dice because, like I said, it was definitely his knowledge of the game that won it, but his dice did not hurt his chances in any way. My dice were fine; they were very average, but my God. With damage reduction and
it's difficult, isn't it?
His defense rolls weren't great; they were fine, but his attack rolls, Jesus Christ! When you're adding so many dice and making blank successes and turning a skull into a crit, it's just so Mysterio dazed Corvus, and then threw later on, the next round, threw Corvus into Proxima to daze Proxima. So that was my little glory point there. But and then Thanos came and punched Mysterio to death and got him the 8 points for the 15-8 win, I think. So not. It sounds closer than it was, but I had 5
that's the thing. Like you got deleted
in 4 rounds. 5. It may have gone to round. Was it round 5? I don't know. It was a very quick game because obviously Darren's doing everything at once, basically.
And I think you're a quick player as well. Like your game's do.
I am a quick player. That gets me in trouble sometimes, but I am a quick player.
Yeah, and Darren's a pretty quick player. I definitely noticed that way. Like, okay, he just knows what he's doing every turn.
He's on autopilot.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what I've done. He already he's planned for it, and he has taken that into consideration.
Yeah. I think even characters he may not know as well.
Yeah.
He's still like, I know what you're gonna do. He's like, I know.
He might not know everything that's written on the card, but he knows at what bracket each character fills, each role. But what did you sort of learn on the day? So obviously we went 3-1. Matt finished second, I finished third in the tournament, which I think is pretty good showing.
Which is great. Yeah. I'm very pleased with that. First in person tournament, and I've said this before. I'm not hugely competitive. I don't think neither of us are. I definitely got in my head. I was going into the final a bit more competitively, and then it started, and I was like, nah. I'll start.
It's difficult when you're 3-0 and you're thinking, I can do this. I can do this.
And then also the fact that Marcus was there, you've got to beat him.
Yeah.
I'm gonna beat him. Nah, I'm not. But what did I learn? I learned that I love spider foes.
Yeah.
They are. I want 2 more characters just so I can run a pure 10 spider foes. And I need a 2 threat. I messed up big time not taking a 2 threat. Literally first game, instant regret that I didn't have it. I was like, I can play 5 wide. I was like, no, I can't. I can't. I've got to play 4. So
maybe fiddle with the roster a little bit to try and add a 2 threat in, maybe like a Toad or an Okoye or something.
Like I said, I think Wong. I'm gonna.
Wong. We did. Yeah, we had that discussion.
We had the, the discussion on the last episode. Like, I almost did it, and I was like, no, I want to play it themed because I want to be that guy, and I was that guy, and then I instantly regretted being that guy. I could have dropped Taskmaster or Black Widow or Black Cat, to be honest, because neither of them actually saw the table. If like I said, if I played at a higher threat and I could have gone sort of 5, 6, 7 wide, probably not 7 actually.
Yeah,
maybe could have gone 7 with a 2, but then maybe I would have brought them onto the table. I think Black Cat would have been good in some certain circumstances, but not to be. They didn't see the table. I do want to try Black Cat at some point, probably in Criminal Syndicate instead.
I also want to try her, but in A-Force.
Yeah. Otherwise, I learned that I just need to figure out a way to beat Darren.
Yeah, I think that was a similar thing. Like we had, and this is the one thing I do really enjoy playing with and against, and talking the game with Darren is, you just see things from like a perspective that you just don't think of, or a lens that he's just got an answer for everything in a good way, like oh, have you thought about this? Have you thought about that? And straight away after the game, we had a discussion. It was like, well, I probably shouldn't have been too fearful about what crises he was picking, and just picking a crisis that I wanted, regardless of if it was an extract or a secure, because whatever Darren then picks, it's gonna be a slow scorer regardless. So I might as well pick something I want, in which case I probably should have gone something like Terrigens, trying to get spreading out the board a little bit more, giving us the higher threat as well. We also talked about I found the day I saw both sides of A-Force, which is super punchy and can deal out a lot of damage and really win games very convincingly, even though like I said, that my game 1918 was close, but like I said, I had to do very little in the final round to cement the win. I sort of added everything up, so it was, I was always in the lead in that game, so it was good. But then I also saw the side of A-Force, which is like, you have a 6 point or a 6 threat character that you have to take air quotes as your leader. Well, she is the only leader at the moment, and she isn't what she seems on the surface. And I've played enough A-Force to definitely come to a decent conclusion of, she isn't really a beat stick. She doesn't kill characters all that convincingly, but what she is she's just this fine scalpel. She's like a precision piece, which if someone like a Medusa or a Scarlet Witch or has anybody else has sort of buttered up some opponents, smash them up a little bit, She-Hulk can then go in, throw some terrain. She can take out 2 or 3 people in an activation, but they need to have been softened up before, so she can just destroy. If there's 2 or 3 people on a point, or around in an activated area, the fact that her spender's 3 range and she's got a good throw, everything like that, you can deal that damage. But in a game against like a Black Order or a Brotherhood, even something like Spider Foes, which are deceptively punchy and controlly, we sort of, I don't know if I can afford that 6 threat investment all the time. So maybe if I continue to play A-Force a little bit more, we start looking at saying, okay, this is a matchup where She-Hulk probably isn't the best idea. Let's split her into 2 characters here. And absolutely, in that first game, if I had a Domino and a Shuri, which I had access to both, that would have been much better for me. Shuri being able to push other characters out of the way, and obviously Thanos has the ability to sort of bring them back, but then he's doing other things. He's not punching 3 times or grabbing and punching and moving onto a point. The Shuri push, and I think the Domino, a little bit more survivability, and the crit's not exploding. That is a probably a better game plan, and something which I think if I carry on playing a bit of A-Force, and I'll never leave A-Force. Like I genuinely really do. I love their tactics cards. I think Stalwart Determination is fantastic. I think A-Force Assemble is a really interesting card when you don't have a She-Hulk. If you're playing A-Force Assemble and you've got 6 or 7 characters and you're adding 3 or 4 defense dice, I think that can be really, really good. So maybe that's what I need to start looking at to sort of freshen up the affiliation. But other than that, having played against X-Men for the first time, I really do want to get some of the mutants on the board. I really enjoyed their tactics cards. They're really powerful, and they've got some really interesting sort of tactics that you can do with them. But all in all, just reinforces that this game is really, really fun. Doesn't matter what level you play it at. Everyone was super chill. It was a really good, like, COVID safe event. Everyone was masked and we're all nicely paced away from each other. Sanitizer at every table. Like I felt good. It felt safe, and it was just a really fun event. And I just, we said it to him in person. We've showered him with praise in text and in the Facebook groups and whatnot. But he really has, Marcus really has set the bar with what we're expecting from events.
He has, and now he's got to keep doing it.
He's got to keep. But yeah, so I mean, we all got goodie bags at the end of it as well. So we got some 3D printed.
That's definitely not going to show up. No, now you're just completely gone.
No, I'm completely gone. So basically, it's just 3D printed trackers for your tokens. So you can plop that next to your card. Really decent. He printed and laminated the Incredible Hulk Ultimate Encounter, which I think is really good for especially newer players because it allows you to have that another way to play. Obviously, the Ultimate Encounter is free to download online, but yeah, he's laminated this one, so it's nice, and you've got all the rules for it as well, which he printed off and made into a little rule book, which he stapled together. And then, well, what's our favourite crisis, Matt? What's everyone's favourite crisis?
I mean, most people's it would be hammers.
And and for hammers, we've got some 3D printed hammers, which you can use as the tokens, which I think are dope. I think they're wicked. So, yeah, all in all, fantastic day. There is I've got no problems with losing to someone who
that good.
Repeatedly does very well at the leagues and whatnot, and is very well thought of by other podcasters and whatnot.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Get him on.
So we should get him on at some point, and Marcus as well. Get him on.
So
just a few little stats, just that we've got that Marcus has sent over. Cool. So the win rate with priority was exactly 50-50. Funnily enough, after the first 3 games, Darren had lost priority every game and won, and I had won priority every game and won. And then obviously amongst everyone else, it was literally a 50-50 split.
That's really funny.
There was 1 Black Order / Brotherhood. There were 2 Spider-Foes players, actually.
Yeah. There was the other Dan.
Player. Yeah, the other Dan had Spider-Foes, didn't get to play him, but there was 1 Inhumans player. There were 3 X-Men / X-Force. I think they all have
everybody
who
played everyone who played X-Men could have played X-Force.
Yeah. So
I think 1 player didn't have any X-Force cards. So
yes,
it was
correct.
unlikely that they would have played X-Force.
Probably just X-Men, but he had the option.
Technically could have.
Yeah, there were 2 Asgards.
Yep.
And then there was 1 Avengers, which was had both caps actually.
Really?
Yeah, that was Richard. Neither of us played him.
Cool. Yeah, I never actually got around to watching any of his games.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So
love it.
No one was 0-4,
which I think is great. Like that is an ideal thing, and I think it sets a really good base for the sort of area build up of people play if they're all starting at a relatively similar level. I think there are definitely, like I said, the game I played against Dan, you could clearly see he knew exactly what was going on. just hadn't seen everything, so couldn't plan for everything. And I reckon 100% in the next event. And by all accounts, you had the other Dan as well, and I think your first opponent as well was that Steve, were very seasoned players who I think will get very good at this game. Will be on if they put the time into it like Darren has. I could definitely see them being that sort of level where they just know everything like the back of their hand, and they've got their tactic and they just go for it. Which is great, and similarly, you'll always have players like us too who, we're going to play it. We try and get a game in every week at least. Are we going to, rip up the rule book and play, the most broken stuff all the time? Probably not. Probably not. I mean, but you never know. Once in a while, we might just take a meta list and see what happens, or we may even get someone like Darren on to play a couple of games and show what he can do.
How it should be done.
Yeah, but I just think it makes such a difference when you've got a really nice community. Everyone was lovely, super friendly. During lunch, all sitting around chatting about not just the game, just life in general. And I think it was nice for a lot of people to just be able to get out and about after this shocking sort of 18 months we've had, and just have a fun day rolling dice against some nice people. The weather was lovely. We were all melting.
Absolutely brilliant.
Yep. So, all around 5 out of 5 tournament would do again.
And we will be doing it again. I say that. I mean, unfortunately, so we have another event. Marcus has planned another event for next month on the 22nd of August. This is not a tournament. This is going to be the Separation Anxiety Organised Play Kit. I don't know how many players he's got enough stuff for. He's got two.
He's got two sets. Yeah.
But obviously, 2 sets. You can, depends if he wants to give every single player a set.
Yeah, if he wants to give every player a set.
One set is enough for like 2 tables worth, because you get 4 players per. So obviously you only use 1 set. There's 8 sets. It
comes with enough.
Obviously, if he wants to give everyone a set of them, then obviously he's going to be, so that would max him out as 16 players again, which is that's 4 tables. So and I can't. Separation Anxiety looks amazing. I've got a set as well. Unfortunately, it looks like I'm going to be working that day, so I won't be able to make it. Hopefully, Pat can. I mean, I might try and rearrange things, because I was meant to be on holiday that week, and I only said I would come in as a favour, so I might just have to be like, about that favour. Gonna have to say no.
But it'll be good. So you can check it. You can check that out on the Facebook group, the Marble Crisis Protocol Southwest, and as well as the Union County Games, and I think he might have just posted it in the Marble Crisis Protocol UK.
He has. I think he's posted a bit of everywhere.
Yeah.
£10 a ticket. Please consider it. I can guarantee you will not be disappointed by the day. Marcus really does know how to run a great event, and I believe the following weekend there is also an event at Curtin Games in Crediton. Crediton. Yeah. Which I don't know much about. I'm not going to lie. It was only something that was mentioned to me earlier. That one looks like I will be free for. So I shall hopefully Pat's free, and we can get up for that. We'll see. But yeah. Next, that's done for now. We'll have another episode up. Hopefully a game up, actually. It is time for a game next time, so we'll try and get that filmed at some point this week. And we will see you soon, guys. Thanks for watching.
Bye.